All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Today we have an amazing video. We have Whitney Peoples, and I've wanted to do this topic with her forever because
I
raw
know.
foods, whole foods, real foods have totally changed her life. And we're going to find out the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, everything. And we're going to have a great talk. So let's get into it. Hey, Whitney, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and you're glowing. You look so
Oh,
great.
thank you. Don't tell me that.
You think it's the foods? Have you noticed a difference in your outer
I think
appearance with
it's
the
the
foods?
fruit. I think it's the fruit. I am a fruit lover, and of course, I'm a juice lover, so I think the glow is from the fruit.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So take us through like what kind of transformation have you had through turning to real food, changing how you eat, taking control, eating
Mhm.
raw food? What led you there and what happened?
Okay, so as you know, I did do I think it was a 90-day juice cleanse about 3 years ago, which went great. Lost a lot of weight, got in shape, and everything was just like smooth sailing. But I decided to go raw shortly after. And my raw journey has been amazing in the beginning. It was some rocky roads because I didn't know what was actually considered raw. Some things that I was eating was roasted, just going through the trial and errors that you go through with veganism in general, because you don't even really know, like you have to like educate yourself on the process basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through that, and I also shared my journey on YouTube. So I got a lot of good feedback from people who have been on raw vegan journeys, or even if it was just for a short period of time. So it was just like, once I kind of got to a point where I created sort of a balance in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
balance, it shifted from, how should I say this? It shifted from, me focusing on nutrition and me trying to create a pleasure-based lifestyle with raw veganism. And
Mm.
that's where I feel like I failed. And I don't want to say failed because I think it's a trial and error. Like I love everything that I'm learning right now on this journey. But it became pleasure-based, which means that I started just focusing on the foods that I love and not nutrition, right? So it was some type of neglect there. And I started eating a lot of calorie dense foods. So most of my dishes, I don't even want to say most, I want to say all of them included nuts, seeds, avocado. It was just extremely high in fats.
Mm.
And at that time, when I decided to transition to raw veganism, I was extremely active, in regards to fitness. So I really didn't feel it at first until I started to cut back on cardio and I started to focus more on weight training. So when I started to focus more on weight training, I wasn't burning as much calories as I was before. And that's when I started to see the weight come on. And at
Mm-hmm.
first, I know calories count. Of course, we learn that when you're on any fitness journey, you learn that calories matter. It doesn't matter where the foods come from. If they are calorie dense, they're calorie dense, regardless if they're raw, cooked, roasted, whatever it
Exactly. I
is,
think so
right?
too. Yeah.
And I know that, but in my mind, I'm thinking it's raw, so I can eat it. It doesn't matter. And slowly but surely, I started to gain weight. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I started to gain weight and I'm trying to now back up and create a balance. So it's been about, I would say about 3 weeks, to be honest with you, that
Mm-hmm.
I've created a balance. So I'm pulling back on some of the juice that I consume because I am a juice lover. But the problem is I eat a lot of, I mean, I'm sorry, I drink a lot of fruit juices.
Mm. So then
So
the fruit with the fat, people say it's not a good combo. That's what I'm really learning the last couple of years,
yeah, and the
right?
sugar too.
The
Because
sugar with the fat. Yeah.
right. So with the juice, with me being on that 90-day juice cleanse, I will say it created some type of addiction for me because I could not pull back. Like I don't drink as much juice as I was, of course, when I was on a juice cleanse because that's primarily what I was consuming, well, all I was consuming. But thereafter, I still was consuming a lot of juice. Like even to this day, I never slowed down. So I was drinking
Wow.
like close to, well, I was drinking probably like a gallon of juice, fruit juice per day, a gallon.
I was
Like,
probably doing that for a while. Heavy, like I would just drink juice all morning into the afternoon and then have like a meal. I can see how that happens because you're drinking that you just feel so hydrated and good. But then maybe
right,
it's not so good long term just to be drinking
right,
so much of our calories. Like maybe it's good for a cleanse or to do like now and
right.
then. But I agree. That's what I learned recently because for so long I was, and then once you start drinking your food, you just want to drink more and more.
Right.
So I was drinking too much of my food for a while, I think. And then recently I transitioned and just started eating it. I do like a green juice a day still, though, or I'll do
Mm-hmm.
some fruit juice if I'm on like a watermelon island. But then I'm just eating more the whole food, just simple, like not even blending much. And I notice a huge difference, like
Oh,
in
it's
how I feel.
yeah, and it's not just that because I was juicing and I was also eating fruit. So I was just consuming entirely too much fruit. And I think that everything should be eaten in moderation, right? It's not about fruit being harmful or juice being bad for you because I am a juice advocate. I love juicing. I love eating fruit. I think it's the best way to hydrate, get your electrolytes, all of that good stuff. Even sodium from celery, great source for sodium. So I am all for juicing. The problem is I think there should be things that are done in moderation. Like I don't think you should be like just overindulging in one thing because you're gonna
Yeah.
see that it doesn't work,
And who
You
knows what it could do
have a
for us?
balance.
Like I was saying, a lot of people I interview say like we have to choose. We if we're gonna do like high fat, we have to keep the sugar low and maybe do
Right,
like
right.
lower sugar fruits like berries. Or if we're gonna
Mhm.
do, or if we do like all the higher sugar things, we should keep the fat lower. That's what people say for like insulin and for how, so did you, okay, so as you got higher fat, did you notice, did you still feel good or do you notice a difference on your energy and maybe feeling
Um,
more sluggish or no?
I would say sluggish because I think that comes with weight gain, period, in my opinion. I'm used to being like naturally smaller and for a long period of time anyway. And it just didn't feel the same. It felt as though I was carrying around like more weight and I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And as I mentioned, I'm still on this journey of weight loss. Of course, it's been about 3 weeks now, so I do feel a major difference as far as my energy level goes. I don't feel sluggish as much because my sodium intake went down as well. So that was another challenge for me. So when
Mm,
I was making, my raw dishes, especially my raw cashew sour cream, which I freaking love, I had to pull back on it,
this
but
sounds good.
yes, I ferment it. I ferment my cashews and I make sour cream out of them. So,
But they
um,
will help pack on the weight. Like I remember my mom, she was staying with me before she passed away a couple years ago, and she really wanted this creamy corn cashew pasta that I make. It's so
oh,
good.
oh,
And
I
then
have to
so she
try
wanted it
that.
every day. And then she had been on a weight loss journey before that and she was losing weight. And then she was like, I don't know, ever since I'm eating this, like I can't lose weight. Like the
Right.
cashews, they really do help. They really keep on the weight, right? In a lot of cases. Same with me. And I noticed like I said, since I stopped drinking so much and eating lower fat and eating like the whole foods, I have lost weight, keeping the fats lower. It does make a big difference, right?
Yeah, and they say the more you process foods down, which means taking raw nuts and making nut butters or taking
Hmm.
cashews and processing them into like sour cream and just doing different things with them, especially with the sugar, like taking fruit and like juicing it, you're processing it down so calories go up, and also the
Yeah.
sugar intake goes up as well.
And
So
think like we wouldn't typically how many cashews we put in a salad dressing. Like we're not typically gonna be able to eat that much, right? In our
right,
salad at once. So it's
right,
like, whoa, like I mean, it's fun to do and go in and out of phases with that, but maybe long term it's better just to eat the food and like we're
right.
all on a journey, right? And would you say so with the juice cleanse, would you say like since you felt like it maybe created some, issues and stuff, would you say that looking back you regret that you did that? If you could go back, would you
No,
not do
I
it
don't
again?
regret it. No, because it was
Yeah.
temporary. I think my body needed that at that time and 100% benefited from it. I
Mhm.
felt amazing after my 90-day juice cleanse, which kind of motivated me to go raw because I love the feeling of just like, taking in high water content foods and like eating and consuming all the nutrients in the food that I'm eating as well. So at that time, as I mentioned, I was focused on nutrition. Like I need to consume all of the nutrients in my food. And that was my focus at that time. But then
Yeah.
as I mentioned, it shifted into pleasure based and I started eating tons of avocado and people when I would tell people I was eating like 9 avocados a day, they thought I was
Wow.
lying. But the thing about it is, I wasn't sitting there eating a whole avocado one at a time. I was processing it down. So it would be more like my version of like mashed potatoes, right?
Mhm.
I would do stuffed jerk avocado. And I would just create different recipes with avocado, but it will always be like processed down. I rarely ate it whole, like just chopping it up and just eating it that way. I've never done it that way. Well, I have, but it wasn't my primary way of like consuming it.
And
So,
did you ever get any negative symptoms in your body from so much fat? Because you know, a lot of people I interview lately who reversed their diabetes or things like that, they say, like Adam Sudd and stuff, who reversed his on a low-fat plant-based diet, they say that excess fat in our bloodstream is what leads to insulin problems. But sometimes I wonder, like, is that still the case with raw foods, whole foods? Like, did you have any symptoms or no with that much fat?
I would say the inflammation in my body went up because prior to me even going on a 90-day juice cleanse, I kind of struggled with fibromyalgia. Now, as far as my blood work, which I probably got my blood taken probably I would say about 9 months ago, everything
Hmm.
was great. Like nothing was off, you know what I mean? Other than my vitamin D levels, which is normal for me.
Hmm.
But other than that, like the only thing that I would say is that I felt the inflammation in my body increase. Because
Okay.
I was gaining weight and I just felt uneasy,
Hmm.
overall. But I wouldn't say anything to the point where it led me to the emergency room or anything crazy like that, or to the doctor's office because my symptoms were, so harsh.
I think on your juice cleanse, didn't you go to the emergency room or something? Or am I remembering wrong?
No, so I went to the emergency room for a panic attack. I actually had
Oh.
a panic attack because and that was more so due to my mental health.
I
Uh,
used to have those before I went raw. Those can be terrifying.
yeah. So some people, of course, I got a lot of feedback on it because when you go raw, anything that goes wrong, everybody's gonna blame it on your diet,
Oh
honestly.
yeah.
And it sucks because that's
Yeah.
not always the case. I mean, it's really not. I feel like people who are on other diets that are not raw, they experience the same thing. I mean, I'm
Oh
not,
yeah.
more so than raw vegans, you know what I mean? So
100%.
it's kind of hard sometimes sharing your journey online because
Hmm.
a lot of people tend to try to put you in a box, meaning that everything that goes wrong in your life in regards to like your health or anything mental, whatever the case may be, they're gonna blame it on your diet. And that is
Exactly.
so freaking annoying.
It
Like,
is
I hate
annoying. It's
that.
ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Well, what have the raw foods and the juicing fixed? You know, I know people out there will be like, well, this is because of this, this is because of this. What positives have you experienced from the juicing and the raw foods? Did it reverse the fibromyalgia? Did it fix
Oh,
other
of course,
health
it
problems? Like,
lowered.
what have they served you for, done for you?
I would say, I hate to say, I used to be focused on, oh, it reversed this and it healed this, and this is the cure for
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, I think everything that you deal with, in regards to like whatever title you want to put on the disease or whatever the case may be, I think it takes you back to inflammation. I think inflammation is the underlying thing. When it comes to any type of like chronic illness or even acute illness. You know what I mean? So if you can manage that inflammation and keep that inflammation in your body low, especially if you're talking about something like, diabetes, for an example, right? That's caused like type 2. I think it's caused by your diet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know much
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, diet
But
and lifestyle. Yeah.
yeah, right. So let's say that you reverse it and now you no longer have to take medication. You're great. You've been great for about 4 years. And then you go left. And now your diet is back, full of junk food and doing what you want to do, pleasure based, basically. And now you have diabetes again. Most people would argue that diabetes never went away. You always had it. But
Mm-hmm.
then I would argue that you reversed it. I mean, you didn't have this issue for years. Now you started the same thing that caused it in the first place is the things that you started to do again that's causing it to come back again. So to me, it's like if you keep, you know, going to the same place that caused it, why would you think that it's coming back? Why
Mm-hmm.
would your mind go into a place of like, I created this environment again and it created this disease again
Yeah.
versus, oh, it never went away.
Yeah, I
I think it
agree.
just comes back to inflammation. And so with fibromyalgia, and to me, it's not even a real disease, to be honest. It's just something unexplained. unexplained inflammation in the body and they can't figure out how to resolve it, right? It can't be tested by blood. They go through a process of elimination to even diagnose you. So it's kind of like, is it even a real thing? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's just inflammation and you can't explain what's causing it, right?
Hmm.
But if I clean up my diet and I've been fine for years and then I go back to the lifestyle and not just the lifestyle of like my diet or anything of that nature, but just a concoction of different things. So your diet, your mental health, your environment, all of those are factors in creating, or increasing the inflammation in your body.
Yeah.
Stress, number one. I've dealt with some challenges, just from being in a bad space mentally, you know.
Hmm.
So, as I go along on this journey, I'm starting to discover more and more, knowing that it's not just about what I put in my mouth. Of course, that's a big factor, creating balance, making sure I balance out everything that I'm consuming. That's number one for sure. But then also, am I moving?
Mm.
Like diet, it's certain things that diet can't fix, right? So the number one thing that supports the lymphatic system is movement. You can't use diet to like move lymph, what I mean? So it's kind of like you have to look at it holistically, health holistically, to truly understand how to create a physical body that's healthy. You know what I mean? So I'm learning that on this journey, and I'm learning to just not focus on my diet, but also my mental health, my environment, whether that's like the people around me or my actual environment. You know what I mean?
Mm. True.
So, so
And
yeah,
I think you're right. And I think the movement, I think it's even more important than the food.
right.
I think it's so
I
important that we
I
move.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. You heard what I said when I said that when I cut back on cardio, that's when the weight came on, and that's when I started to notice a
Mm.
huge difference.
Yeah.
So, I
It's
mean,
like
the
even
fitness
like
is still
I grew up in
related.
the yeah, sorry. I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 82 and we were still
Uh-huh.
like eating fairly healthy that back then. Like my mom had a garden, we still had health food, but like a
Right,
lot of the processed foods have started to become introduced to it or introduced to us, right? So I was
right,
eating some processed food, but I was always outside playing. And like back then you're just always outside doing stuff. And back then like you barely heard of people having cancer as much and
right,
barely more any health problems, right? Well, there were still some, but not like today, right?
right,
It's
right.
like I'm with you. I think the moving is like so important. And do you think that have the people around you changed as you've changed your lifestyle and changed how you eat? Like, have you, because I notice as we respect ourselves more, we eat cleaner,
Mhm.
maybe we give up bad habits like food addictions to crap and drinking or whatever we might have used to do. A lot of times all our people change. Like for me, 95% of the people change. I have a whole new life. Like, has that been the case for you or no? And have people been supportive around you? Has it been like hard to live this lifestyle?
Not really, because I started my health journey back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's when I decided to go vegan. This was way
Mm.
before the 90-day juice cleanse in 20. I think I did that cleanse in 2022, right? I did it the end of 2022. So my family, friends at this point, they're used to me with my diet. Like they're all for it, right? They support me. The love is there. I don't have any issues. And it's hard for me to say that I ever had any issues because when I decided to go vegan, I was still fairly young. So my family were learning me as an adult. Of course, you have this perception of this person as a kid or whatever the case may be, but I
Mm-hmm.
stepped into adulthood and this is my diet. So this is all they know of me as an adult, right? And so it's kind of like they respected this is who I am to them. It was never a different version of me where
Mm-hmm.
I was not on a health journey. You know what I mean? Other than when
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid, but everybody changes as an adult, so that's
True.
expected, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's mine. The only thing that I will say that it affected was new relationships
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on the space that I meet you in.
Mm.
Like if I don't meet you in the gym and I haven't met you like in a space of like that's talking about health and wellness, that's about health and wellness, and I meet you, I can't even like at a book club. And I
Mm-hmm.
meet you at a book club. And so now we're trying to get to know each other. Your diet is completely different from mine. And so now you have this like, some people just don't respect it. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
they have a problem with it, they just don't respect your lifestyle. And in situations like that, because the relationships are like still fairly new, I just back off.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
point, right? They have to
Right.
respect it. Even if it's different, okay, fine, and you guys are both okay with that, but they have to respect it. And
Right.
did you notice a difference? Because I know you were like cooked vegan before. Did you notice
Right.
a
Right.
do you notice major difference between cooked vegan and raw vegan? So cooked food versus raw?
That's hard for me to say because when I went vegan, I did, okay, so when I went vegan back in 2016, I did start it off raw. Only
Mm-hmm.
because at that time was when I was having the issues and they diagnosed me with, fibromyalgia. So for,
Mm-hmm.
going into veganism, I did start off raw for about, I think it was about 2 weeks or a month. I can't remember. It was so long ago. And then I transitioned into like veganism. At that time, I had no desire whatsoever to be raw. It was too
Mm-hmm.
restrictive. I just wasn't for it. It was just like a kickstart to my vegan journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get the inflammation down. And so once it went down to the point where I felt comfortable, because the
Mm-hmm.
last thing to go was like the headache, the body aches kind of went away. So I was great at that point, and then I went into veganism, and it was, I kind of went into more of the dirty vegan route. But
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind, I was extremely active at that time, so I really didn't feel it. And then I was still young, so my metabolism was working to perfection. So
Mm-hmm.
I was great. But then COVID hit, and then when that hit, of course, there's no gym and I wasn't working out at home. And then that's when I started to feel it. So keep in mind, COVID hit what in 2020 was when we started to feel it and we
Mm-hmm.
shut down. So the gyms were closed. So 2020, 2021, and 2022, I was dirty vegan, no gym. So now I'm really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
The weight is coming on. Everything is just like completely off. I'm not moving like I supposed to. And then also I was stuck in the house because I had a burn on my face.
Oh, I remember that.
Right. So it was a bad situation. And my dermatologist basically told me, like, you can't be out in the sun whatsoever, like at all. So I was stuck in the house for like a month in 2022, right? So after that, I was just no, that happened in 2020. I'm sorry. That happened in 2020. So I was stuck in the house for a while. Even if
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go out, I couldn't. My face was just badly burnt. And for the next 2 years, I just was eating dirty. And then 2022 was when I got fed up and I'm like, I have to make a change. And so that's when I decided to go on the 90-day juice cleanse.
Yeah, and then you've been like mostly raw or all raw since then, pretty
Right.
much. Yeah, and what would you say if somebody's like, well, why raw food? Why not just eat like cooked food?
Because my battle with inflammation, it's
Mm,
just not worth it for me. It's a choice. You know what I mean? It's not me convincing others that, oh, you should be raw. This is the lifestyle for you. Whatever works for you, please go for it. But the lifestyle I was living, it was not working for me. Even just primarily
mm,
eating meat, because I did do that at one point, and that was prior to me going vegan. It just didn't work for me. It made me feel still like kind of heavy and I just wasn't, I didn't feel like it was nutrients there. Like
me
I
too. I did that
needed,
too
like,
because I was like, oh, my blood type is blood type O. So I was like, oh, this blood type diet book, let me try it. And
yeah,
every meal was like prime rib and like meat, it was all meat based. And I didn't feel good. Nothing like clicked until raw. I was like, whoa, this is like your
right.
life,
It's different, right?
You feel vibrant, alive, colorful. That's how I want to feel, right? I
Yeah.
don't want to feel like low vibe and like I want to feel good.
Yeah, and a lot of people won't understand that until they try, like seriously try raw veganism. It's a huge difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's extremely easy on the gut. So you also have to consider that too. And where I felt it the most was in my gut. Like
Mm-hmm.
my gut just felt amazing. And a lot of people, 70% of our immune system is in our gut. We are not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be breaking down that type of food,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, right?
Me too.
So, eating foods that are easily digestible, high in fiber, those things are really easy on the gut and it supports you and you feel it all over. Anything that you give your gut that supports your gut is going to make you feel great as a whole. You
Yeah,
know?
there's a huge connection. All the fiber,
Yeah,
all the healthy food in the gut between then your mood, like you notice a
right.
massive difference. But also like I've noticed that and I see so many people notice that. But at the same time, and I don't think you're this way, I'm not like dogmatic about it because you do see people heal on other things. You see people on other
Right.
things.
I've seen that.
I
Yeah.
wish the whole world ate like this, but I get it that people have other journeys that work for them that aren't raw vegan. And I think that's fine too. And okay, so like you've been on this journey for a while now. A lot of people want to do this, but they just can't stay on. Like, have there been like any tricks or tools or any advice you have to like stay motivated and stay on track like this? Because it can be really easy for people to just flip flop and easily get off track and not stay on like this long or for this much consistency.
Mhm. You have to preparation. You have to
Mm,
be patient. You have to be willing to be in the kitchen a lot, in my
mhm.
opinion, because you have to prepare food a lot. It depends on what type of, because I think it's different diets within raw veganism,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, me
Like I
too.
think it's like different diets. So a couple of raw vegans that I ran across, we do eat similar foods, don't get me wrong, of course, because I mean fruits and vegetables, clearly we're eating similar foods, right? But it's just different. Like I
Mhm,
prepare my food a little differently. It requires me to be in the kitchen a little bit more. I love to ferment. So, fermentation takes, at least a day,
mhm,
or more to get the end result of whatever you're trying to make. Dehydration. Some raw vegans, they don't dehydrate, but
mhm,
at the time I was dehydrating. I still dehydrate every now and again, not like I used to, because as I mentioned, I'm trying to create a balance. So it all depends. So if you're it depend you have to identify what you're trying to get out of it.
mhm,
What type of what are you looking for? Like I think once you understand your why, then you have to do research on exactly what how much time and energy it's going to take to on the daily to prepare your food, to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients that your body needs, doing research on just like nutrition in general, because it's not like the standard American diet. You can't just eat and be fine. With raw veganism, you actually
mhm,
have to do research. And I think a lot of people go into it blindly and then they fail and then they blame it on raw veganism, when in honesty, you just didn't do your research, and you have
mhm.
to study nutrition, and if you don't understand it, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah, and do you supplement? Because you started your journey around the same time as me. So you went vegan 2016, I think you said, right? I went raw 2016, and I didn't supplement in the beginning. I didn't believe in it.
Oh
I just
wait,
thought,
so you went from like meat eating straight
yeah.
raw?
And then
Oh wow.
so I was eating meat before I was raw vegan. I did try different diets, like the blood type diet and different things.
Yeah.
And I went raw vegan, I think it was August 31st, 2016. But because I'd already quit addictions, like as far as coffee or alcohol, I don't know how long before that, I forget, but I didn't have any of that in my system when I went raw. If I did, it would have taken me longer to feel good. So because of that, literally I felt good instantly. Like the very first day of eating only raw food, I literally by the afternoon was like, oh my God, holy crap, like this is how I'm supposed to feel. I never felt like this in my whole life. And I thought it was like I was literally born for the first time. Like it sounds crazy, but it was like, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Like I couldn't believe the difference. It was like kind of like what I'd been searching for in alcohol and all these other things my whole
Mhm.
life to just feel like my true self. So it was like really instant with me. And I was just eating the whole foods. So like I'd have like cantaloupe for breakfast and have like salads in the day of just like kale, hemp seeds, half an avocado, bell pepper, tomato, that type of thing, and then snack on like walnuts or berries. And I was just like, it was insane. So I felt good instantly. I didn't believe in supplements when I first started. But then a few years later, I got low in B12 and I just felt like I learned some things and then I changed my tune around like B12 and stuff. So I do supplement, but do you take any supplements in your journey or you don't believe in them?
No, I believe in supplementation. I do. I definitely take magnesium. Um, but more so for my mental health. I don't think
Mm,
I do it mainly because I'm low on magnesium or anything like that. And also because I would have days where I would consume a lot of juice and have low fiber. And when I say low
mhm,
fiber, I mean low fiber days, not consistently every single day I'm not consuming fiber, right? So magnesium, as you know, helps with that. It's
mhm,
like a natural laxative. And so I definitely take magnesium, and then another supplement which is like vitamin D, but I've
Mm.
been on that since God knows when. Like even before I was vegan, I just
Oh,
always had
yeah.
vitamin D. So I hate to even mention that part because
You see
I've
so
always
many non-vegans that are like super low in vitamin D, super
right.
low in iron, sometimes also low in B12. Like, I agree. I think like I take like DHA and EPA too. Like I take an all-in-one supplement. I think things like that are good for our mental health. I didn't realize so magnesium helps you feel like with your mental health.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I use that. I love magnesium. It's just like it's the all-in-one for me.
hmm,
It's just all-in-one for me. Also I would take probiotics. And
me
that,
too.
especially during times where, if I had to, if I'm in a situation, I know I just recently had a situation not long ago and I had to be on antibiotics, which I hated, but
Hmm.
because of the situation, I had to take it. And I instantly thereafter took probiotics,
Yeah.
right? Now I'm focused on my gut. And so, I mean, in situations like that, it depends. It all
Hmm.
depends on what I'm going through or whatever, but it's nothing that I just, other than magnesium and vitamin D, that I'm just like constantly supplementing on. So with the B12 that you mentioned, I hear that a lot, but I haven't dealt with it.
Hmm.
Like my vitamin B12 levels have always been normal,
Good.
never had
Good.
a challenge with that. And I just feel like if you do, of course, supplement, if I did, I would supplement, but it has
Mm.
never been a problem
Yeah.
for me thus far.
Cool. Okay. And so what does a day of eating look like right now? Like what do you typically eat in a day? And like what is a day in the life? Any other like things that help you improve your life, like meditating or like what's your routines?
Well, I have a 5K coming up in November, so I do a lot of running. So my cardio is high right now.
Yeah.
And I also, I know you said mental health. As far as my diet goes, I'm following more of this like 80/20. So 80 primarily low sugar, low fat diet, and the 20% is mainly, my fruit juices and then also my fats. So like whatever fat that I decide to eat that day. So it could be like avocado, it could be something with like nuts and seeds or whatever the case may be. So I'm like trying to stick with that 80/20. And so far it's working for me.
And
I
that's
mean,
been 3 weeks, right? So you've been doing that for about
yeah,
3 weeks and you
it's
notice
been
a
about,
difference?
yeah, I noticed a major difference. The only sucky thing about it is I realized it made me discover how addicted I am to fruit. Like I I love fruit and it's like driving me insane because when I'm done with my fruit for the day, and when I say fruit, I'm not referring to like cucumbers, tomatoes. Of course, I
Hmm.
still consume those, but I mean the fruit, the sugar fruits, right? So we're talking about watermelon, cantaloupe, mangoes, papaya even. I just kind of pull back on those. And it sucks because I be wanting them.
Well, they're so good.
I know, right?
And they're
Especially
easiest on
mango.
our
I love
body.
mango. And
Oh, me too.
mango is so high in sugar. Like it's
You know
just,
what else I love that I just tried for the first time this year is mame sapote. Have you had that?
oh no.
Oh, it's so good, mame
I don't
sapote.
even
It's
know what that is.
thicker,
What?
kind of cakier. It kind of looks like a sweet potato, but it's really creamy. It kind of tastes like cake. And then I had this other fruit called I don't know what the official name is. It looks like a chocolate cake, this other fruit. And then
Mm.
jackfruit is so good. Have you had jackfruit? There's
Oh
fruits.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like jackfruit. I'm not a big fan of it though. I mean, I don't think it's nasty. It's just
Yeah.
because I don't run across it often and they
Yeah.
only sell it at the international markets here. I just
Yeah.
don't go out my way to purchase it. Now, the only thing that I probably would go out my way to purchase that I love and is seasonal here is muscadine grapes.
Mm,
They are high in sugar too, but I love them and they're in season right now. And every time I go to the store, I have to convince myself not to pick it up
mm.
because I will literally eat the whole container in one sitting. That's how much I love them. So I have to tell myself, no, you can't even
Yeah.
purchase it.
I might do a little grape cleanse this year. I've done a few, just grapes. I felt so
Oh.
good.
What kind of
Yeah.
grapes do you get? Like the globe grapes?
Well, I just did all the grapes because I like a variety. So
Okay.
every morning, if I did a grape cleanse, I would just get a big bowl and put all the different kind of grapes, cotton candy, red, black, green, and mix them
Oh.
all up. So then I'm not bored. Then I'm just snacking on them, and it felt really good. So are you doing like juices and fruits through the day, and then like a big salad? Is that sort of how the days look?
Yes, salads, but I do wraps. I do the collard
Mm.
green wrap and I also And then like I'll do like a coconut wrap. And if I do a coconut wrap, it's kind of like falling into that like 20%, of
Mhm.
course. And a lot of green, leafy greens, salads, of course, but I don't like salads anymore. I don't know if I told you this. I hate
Mhm.
salads now. So
That's so funny.
I always turn them into like a burrito now. So I'll use seaweed or either, and I'm into sea vegetables too. So that's
Mm.
another thing.
That's
Um,
healthy, I think, you know?
it is because there's some things that you can nutrients that you get from sea vegetables that you really can't get from fruits and vegetables, right?
Hmm.
Well, it is a vegetable, but it's a sea vegetable, you know.
Hmm.
So I do, consume kelp, and I love kelp noodles, like pasta. I make pho soup from it. The only thing with that is I'm pulling back on the sodium because I realized that I was consuming a lot of sodium as well. So that's something that I kind of pull back on. And what else? It's just yeah. Right now I'm in this like wrap stage. Like
Mm.
I consume a lot of
Yeah.
like wraps and of course fruit and juice, but it's like that 20% falling at 20%, and I'll probably do one fat a day.
And it's,
So
yeah. Oh,
I
that's
have
not nine, not the nine avocados anymore.
no
No,
not
that's
avocados.
good.
I'll be
I
like,
love it.
I'm
Well, it's
down
all
to
a
one.
journey. We go through stages with stuff too,
All
right? And
right,
that's
I'm
okay.
down to one avocado.
Yeah. And what's like the biggest lesson you've learned through your whole health journey? Is there anything that comes to mind and sticks out as like, oh, wow, this is like the craziest thing I learned or the biggest like life transforming thing?
I would say listening to yourself, because I think a lot of people like to say that they just don't understand, they don't know. But in reality, a lot of us, our intuition is so powerful. I think it tells us when we're going left, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
listen. We don't. So, what I learned on this journey, especially with going through this and knowing that, like, I knew the moment that I started to gain weight. I just
Mm-hmm.
mentally dismissed it. I convinced myself that I'm raw, so it's not going to get that bad. So I think we all have those little voices or that gut feeling that tells us that we need to start eating clean, or you shouldn't eat this today, or put this away, eat this instead. And we just go against it. So
Mm-hmm.
on this journey, that's the biggest thing that I learned, to like listen to myself. Like
Okay.
when I
That's
have that feeling that I should not be consuming, like if I have, sometimes I have feelings like where I'm like, you shouldn't eat anything today. I feel
mm,
like my body is just not, you might need a fast today. And I wouldn't listen to that voice. I'll just like go ahead and eat because I'm raw and this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to eat as many calories as I want. And well, not as I want, but eat, enough calories that I'm supposed to eat daily. And it doesn't work out. I think it's important to listen to yourself. And I think everybody's diet should be different. I think it depends on what your body needs. Like,
mm-hmm.
what do you need? You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
think you should focus on, of course, nutrition as a whole, right? We all need the same nutrients, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think that you have to create your own balance. Maybe a high fat diet would be great for some people. It just doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
And have you noticed weight loss within the 3 weeks on the lower
Oh,
fat
of
diet?
course. Just from the sodium, cutting the sodium alone, yeah, I noticed a major difference. It forced me to have to include more celery in my diet, which I hate celery because it provides natural sodium. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm incorporating more celery, and I do. Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. Well, I lost about 10 pounds, but that's, I
That's
think,
a
a lot.
lot. Yeah.
It is a lot, but I think it has something to do a lot with the just water weight in general, right?
Hmm.
But I feel slimmer, and then also I see it as well. You always start to feel it in your gut first, especially first thing in the morning. So I definitely noticed a major difference, I would say, after the first week. And then after week 2 and 3, then of course I started to feel it more because now, I'm still running like every other day, and I'm also cutting my calories. So I'm in a bit of a deficit. So right now my diet, some would say, oh, that's not a lot. You're not eating enough. But I know what I'm doing because right
Hmm.
now it's kind of like I'm eating in a little bit of a deficit so that I can, shed the weight.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you like have a cutoff time before bed, or do you eat right up
Oh,
until
I
bed?
don't eat, I typically don't eat after 7:30.
That's good. I think it's a big difference when we stop at least a few
Yeah.
hours before bed, right? Than if we're eating right
I
before bed.
I'm more
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat it. I mean, at the latest, I've eaten like maybe like at 8:15. I was done by 8:30, but it was more of a snack, not
Mhm.
necessarily like a meal, but I aim for 7:30.
Okay, makes sense. And favorite book? Any favorite book out there? A book that's changed your life? And favorite quote?
Ooh, my favorite book will always be my book, The Vegan Fight.
Yeah, and I'll put that down below. Amazing.
Yeah, that will always be my favorite book. But no, I read a lot of books. I don't know because like I'm looking at a book now and I love David Goggins' book Can't Hurt Me, and
Mhm.
it's completely unrelated to diet. It's really about discipline. So that book alone like changed my thought process about like if you have your mind made up to get something done, get it done.
Mm,
Like put your all into it. If you're not going to give it 100%, don't be shocked when it doesn't happen, you know? So
hmm.
that book helped a lot with just like discipline, which I think a lot that's the number one thing that people struggle with when trying to change their diet. So I would have to say that's the book because everything else is just educational information. And I
Yeah.
think that you can drill something in someone's mind endlessly and they still not apply it
Hmm.
because they lack discipline, right? So I would say Can't Hurt Me by
Yeah.
David. Jones. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Well, this has been amazing. I'm so glad
Thank
you've come on and I'm so happy you've been honest. I mean, because some things do happen on this. Sometimes there can be weight gain or this can happen, that can happen. And I've loved hearing your journey and it sounds like you're on a really good path right now and you're really smart. You've got a good head on your shoulders and I just love it. And for you guys wondering, Whitney and I, we both use the same juicer, the Nama J2. So I'll put the link
you.
for that down below. You guys can save $60 with both our codes. So I'll put both our code. Go support one of us. Grab a juicer if you need a juicer and everything. You have an amazing book. I'll put that down below. And anything else you have, or where can people find you?
I am on YouTube under my name, Whitney Peoples.
Mhm.
And of course, as you mentioned, I also have a book called The Vegan Fight. I actually wrote this book back in 2020. Honestly, I
Wow.
published it. I'm sorry, I published my book back in 2020. And also on Instagram, across all platforms, my name is the same. It's Whitney Peoples.
Okay, amazing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some inspiration. I think it's been great. It's been amazing. So be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for an awesome one next. And I'll put a really good one on the screen right now for you guys to watch. Go follow Whitney, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.